So in this video, I wanted to talk about the things that I've learned about men over the years. I've been in a lot of different kinds of relationships. Most of them were not good. Some of them were okay. But I'm going to be 41 soon, and when I do my story times in the future, I'll do a lot of stories about the different situations I was in and the different men that I was with, and then when you see this video, it'll make more sense, I guess, for the things that I say. Because there's a lot to tell. And in this video, I will be smoking a little bit. I started smoking again. I'm sorry if that bothers anybody. I'm going to be trying to quitting again soon, but I recently started up again due to a lot of stressful things that have been happening. But anyway, okay, so I was married once, and that marriage was really not good at all. I got married when I was 25, and I was always very naive when it came to men. I always thought that the best way to be was to be as loving as possible, as giving as possible, give them as much attention that they could possibly want, give them all my heart, and now, after all my experiences with them, I realized that I did the very opposite of what I should have done. Now, a lot of people might not like the things I'm going to say, but it's just my opinion, and it's just my experiences and what I've learned from what I've seen. And to me, men are typically very narcissistic, self-centered individuals. They are, maybe not all of them, that doesn't go for every man in the world, but for most men, I think most of their personalities are narcissistic, and they are very self-centered. And I think that maybe a lot of you women out there could kind of see where I would derive that from. I'm sure that you've all had your experiences with men as well, and they were probably very similar. Basically, women are very emotional, usually very emotional people who want to feel very loved, want affection, usually, in most cases, not speaking for every woman. And we're so very opposite of men. And a lot of times it just doesn't click. It doesn't work together. We think that the men would want the same thing that we do, but they don't, not typically. The more attention that you give a guy, the less attention that you're going to get back. It's just going to annoy them. They don't look at love the same as we do. Not to say that they don't love and that they're not loving individuals themselves, but they love in a different kind of way. They don't want to feel suffocated. They don't want a woman who seems very needy. And in some ways they do, though. I mean, that kind of is so like, there's men that'll be with women who are kind of dependent on them. They'll work and the woman will stay at home with the kids, or they'll be dependent on the man. And not to say that the man doesn't always necessarily like that. In a way they do, because men like to feel powerful and in control. And in those situations, they are very much so. They know that they have control over everything. They know they have power over everything. And they usually use that against the woman in various ways. They will remind them that it is their place, they pay the bills, and you need to pretty much listen to what they have to say. And that's in the cases of women who are dependent on the man. Even in cases where they're not, men will always find a way to have control over the situation. And they, a lot of times, have this need to kind of be left alone and to be able to do what they want to do. They don't want to be told what to do at all. And, or harassed, or, you know, if a woman is jealous, that just annoys them very much, and it usually will end in a breakup at some point. And I know, and I've been that way with guys. You know, I've been very needy. I've been wanting attention, and the more that you want a guy to text you back or call you or communicate with you, if you really are looking for that, you need to stop texting them and calling them and trying to get their attention, because they don't want that. From what I have learned, they don't want that. The less that you communicate with them, the more they will communicate with you. The more that you're jealous, the more reason you'll have to be jealous. The more that they'll do things to make you jealous, because they're not very considerate over women's feelings. And I don't know if that's intentional. I think in some ways it is. But I don't think overall it's completely intentional. But basically, I feel like women kind of expect a lot out of men that men are unable to give. A lot of them are good providers. A lot of them are hard workers. But emotionally, they're just not all like the same that we are. And not to say that they don't love, because like I said, they do, but in their own way. And they tend to love a woman more when the woman isn't always around and isn't always there for them. You know, a woman wants that affection, wants that attention, and a guy usually does not, or doesn't think he does. So the less attention that you give him, the more attention he's going to want, because without even realizing it, he'll wonder why you're not giving him attention, and then he'll go to seek it. So if he wants attention, he'll let you know, but don't go out of your way to give it to him, because it's just going to backfire, and he's not going to be happy, and he's going to feel that you're needy, and it's going to push him farther away. What else? Basically, it's best to just try to do your own thing, focus on other things other than the man. It's hard to do, because like I said, we are emotional, and we're very loving, usually, and you kind of have to lessen your love a little bit and make theirs greater for you in that way, because we love too much sometimes, and it's hard to shut those feelings down a little bit, but it's kind of necessary sometimes, because if we don't do that, we have the capability of being hurt, and really hurt. And because when we love very deeply, and men aren't really like that. A lot of times in a relationship, if a woman decides to pack up and leave, the guy kind of just accepts it, and he might hurt deep down inside, he's not going to really show it. On the other hand, for a woman, if the guy leaves or does something like that, we will break down. We will cry, we will beg, we will plead our love for them, and they don't really care to hear it, usually. They will kind of use it against you most of the time. They'll see how needy you are towards them, and they'll take that and they'll use it to take advantage of you, to take advantage of your feelings. They will manipulate you most of the time, and we can't allow them to do that to us. We need to be stronger. And I think, again, for the women who are dependent on a man, you really need to try to find a way to not be. Any way possible. Start slowly and plan things. That way, if anything were to happen, you would be okay. And even emotionally, you know, if you really love a guy, I think it's best to focus on other things and try to love yourself more and focus on yourself more than the guy. Because a lot of times we tend to just give all of our attention to the man that we're with. And it's not a good thing. And it just always backfires. So, and I've seen this from experience. When I would be in a relationship and I would wonder why he would go and I wouldn't hear from him. He wouldn't text me at all. There wouldn't be any I love yous or things like that. Not really much attention, and I would give more of my attention and I would say, what's going on? Is everything okay? And I wouldn't really get much of a response, if any. And then if I did, it was usually them being annoyed. And then when you stop doing that, then you see the difference. When you do your own thing and you're not concentrating so much on their needs and what you can give to them, they will concentrate more on you. They really will. They will, for most of it. I mean, like, maybe not all the time. There are guys out there that just could care less, and then if they are like that, the best thing that you could do is just move on from that situation and find a different guy. But for most cases, for most men, they just want the woman to back off. That is the way that their brains are wired. They just get annoyed. They like their space, and they like to do what they want to do. And it's really hard for women to accept that. It's hard for me to accept that, in my relationships. But practice makes perfect, and the more that you do it, the more that you'll see that there will be a difference usually in the man and his response to you. So, I have more that I could talk about men, and maybe I'll make more videos about this subject. But I kind of wanted to just get this out there, the whole attention thing and being needy. And it's just a bad habit that us women have sometimes. We just want so much from the guy. We want us to be their everything, But unfortunately, it's just not how it is. And we kind of have to trick the guy into realizing that maybe to them we are their everything. They're just not seeing it because we're bombarding them too much with trying to make them see that. And it just gets a negative response most of the time. So maybe I'll make more videos like this and tell you more about my thoughts on men, along with other videos about other topics too. I have plenty of things that I have to talk about. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, and I hope that you'll subscribe, and I'll see you again in my next video.